This is an absolutely hilarious article because it shows executives within Warner Brothers are like, what? Why are you spending so much money on this? What is going on? Where's Ezra Miller? Marketing The Flash. No Ezra Miller, but lots of Batman and TV spots. This is essentially a bit of a breakdown on why we've been getting reports that Tom Cruise loved the film and all this other stuff. They're really pushing this film hard. And they do have to, because Ezra Miller is a nobody. Right? And I know, shocking, that really annoys a bunch of people, but stop. You go and ask your mother who Ezra Miller is, they're not going to know. You ask your mother who Brad Pitt is, they're going to know. You ask your mother who Michael Keaton is, they're going to know. Ezra Miller's a nobody, and they've spent... It's rumoured this budget's upwards of like $350 million at the moment. Like, it's insane. So they're pushing this hard for a reason. And they also have to circumvent Ezra Miller out of the marketing because you don't know what he's going to say. And he's had horrendous headlines. Can you imagine your mother learning about this film? I say your mother, anyone, literally your average Joe. Learning about this film, seeing an interview of Ezra Miller and going, oh, I'll Google him. And the first thing that pops up is him being accused of grooming 12-year-olds. or choking a woman in Iceland, which is on video. Or, I don't know, being in Hawaii in court via video link. Do you see what I mean? So it's not a good look. This chap is not a good look for the film by any stretch. But this article is absolutely hilarious. It's gold. So let's take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And there's a bit of a breakdown of this. So in late August 2022, Ezra Miller trekked into Warner Brothers for his first meeting with Warner Brothers since everything had happened. And crazy. So the sit-down followed months of legal and personal troubles for the actor, with a string of arrests and bad headlines threatening to derail The Flash. Now they say here the $200 million feature, but there's rumours that it's even more than that. Because that was the initial budget. This has been reshot many, many times. So Miller had been attached to since 2014. A few weeks earlier, Miller apologised for his behaviour, which included trespassing, choking a woman in Iceland, which is on video. Again, not just trespassing, he got a felony charge of trespassing, but he's also assault. It's been just ridiculous stuff. So the question on everyone's mind that day in August, could Miller stay out of trouble and out of the headlines long enough for The Flash to safely enter theatres? 10 months later, the answer appears to be yes, but it's not really true, is it? Let's be honest. He has stayed out of headlines. He's probably just been under lock and key. Miller's not only stayed out of the headlines, but the actor is nowhere to be found in the press. It's so bizarre. I don't think there's been a film like this that's been marketed in this way. So instead of touting its star, the studio has put the focus on the film itself, hyping to perhaps unrealistic levels. So CEO David Zaslav and DC Studios co-head James Gunn have publicly said the feature is among the greatest superhero movies of all time. It's a pretty massive thing to claim. This has sparked bemused head shaking from other people at Warner Brothers. Do you see why this is a funny article? Now, someone else at Warner's has questioned the wisdom of setting such high expectations. It can't be the studio telling you it's good. Your friends have to tell you it's good. Says what? Well, yeah, obviously. Are you finally realising that? So the first reviews, which dropped June 6th, are solid, but not the type of notices received by The Dark Knight, considered the greatest film of the genre. The Flash currently sports 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, good enough to beat Joker, which is, $1 billion hit. Crazy. But there was a bunch of idiots that didn't like that film, so whatever. The studio is facing several other headwinds that are affecting The Flash's projected opening. A soft 70 million to 75 million. That's what they think it's going to open to domestically. And then they say this. Some superhero fatigue is real. I will agree with that to a degree. I think it's also just bad superhero fatigue and regurgitated crap. Consistent regurgitated crap. And so is the perception that these next few DC movies, including Blue Beetle and Aquaman, are less urgent because Warner's is relaunching everything. They've really fucked themselves here. Now, they say this, it's unclear how much is perception and how much is reality. Both executives have said some actors from the current universe could persist, and one who seems most likely is Zolo, who is the Blue Beetle. And then Gunn and Safran are planning their own Booster Gold show, so they think he's going to come over to that, and Blue Beetle could appear on it. Obviously, depending on how Blue Beetle does in theatres. But that looks terrible as well. So Warner's has sidelined Miller in the press in favour of Andy Muschietti, Barbara Muschietti, Supergirl as the ambassadors of the film. On June 12th, Miller is expected to attend the film premiere, which is branded a fan event, but he's only going to be... He's literally told you must walk the red carpet and answer no questions from journalists. So funny. The studio previously has experience in such hybrid events because for Fantastic Beasts, which was mired in its own controversies around J.K. Rowling, the recasting of Johnny Depp, and even Miller, who was arrested in Hawaii days before the event. Why would you give him a movie? You fucking dipshits. Instead of touting its star, the studio has enlisted famous champions courting celebrities for advanced screenings. Stephen King has seen it. Someone said this to me on my video of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and I was like, Stephen King's a fucking idiot. What? Like, honestly, go to his Twitter, and you will realise just in one glance that the guy has something wrong with him. He's terminally online. He has serious meltdown problems. Like, I very rarely tweet. I'm very rarely online these days. There's a reason for that. The sun is out. I'm outside enjoying my life. Right? Get offline, Stephen King, and go outside. But obviously he's seen it, and people are like, you know, worship the ground he walks on for some bizarre reason. As a rule, I don't care a lot about superhero movies, but this one is special. It's heartfelt, funny, and eye-popping, he tweeted. And then they've given it to Jaden Smith. Best movie ever, he wrote on Instagram. Apparently Tom Cruise also saw it as well, although he's never actually publicly stated he did. So I actually do call bollocks on Tom Cruise seeing it. In fact, the studio mounted what one person described as one of the more robust screening campaigns in recent memory to build buzz, with tens of thousands seeing it. So there's a rival studio to Warner Brothers has noted that Warner's has been spending heavily on spots, and particularly trailers running the latter during the NBA playoffs. One executive believes Warner's paid up to $14 million to the NBA alone. Now remember, they also did the Super Bowl trailer, which would be well over 14 million. It's insane. The amount of money they're spending on this is crazy. Actually crazy. And someone even says it. They are spending huge, huge, huge. This is a massive campaign. It's crazy. The amount of money they're spending is madness. Now, obviously, they're front-loading it with Michael Keaton, not the actual star title character, the Flash. It's all Michael Keaton the Batman, Michael Keaton the Batman. And then other executives from other studios are like, oh, they're not promoting the Flash as a character because they can't. Because you can't put any focus on Miller. Bad times. Again, just remember, ladies and gents, you go tell a random or you know, just a normal guy down the pub, your mother, whatever. They see Ezra Miller, they give him a Google, and they're like, oh, holy shit, this guy's obscene and bizarre. I don't want to watch that movie. So normally studios would have a big movie star blanket late night talk shows, but due to the writer's strike, those shows have shut down. So that's been a blow to movies, but in the case of The Flash, it may prove advantageous. Miller isn't conspicuously absent from the shows, and co-stars don't have to field awkward questions about their troubled star. It has hurt everyone equally, says the rival exec, but in their case, it hurts them less. So one bright spot for Warner's has been filmmaker Andy Muschietti, who's obviously a favourite, you know, a darling at Warner's because of It. Look, apparently he's the top choice to direct Batman Brave and Bold as well, so that'll be interesting. But look, this is utterly hilarious. I love this. And like I say, there's rumours that they've spent like $330 million. I mean, you are literally looking at like $350 million on this easily. Yeah. It's just the amount of money that they've spent is staggeringly high. Staggeringly high. On a movie where you just have to Google Ezra Miller and the Google results will put you right off. Idiots. Absolute idiots.